Vicky, who's that?
Vicki Cloyd's the rural route water lady. She called me this morning and she's actually under the weather. She's sick. She was wanting to be here. Then we got Mike here, and I've reached out to the other cities that was in my area,
So did
and
Nobody's here.
everybody said they was gonna be here, and there's nobody here. I guess Mike actually attended the meeting at the Capitol, so if you would kind of explain to us what y'all kind of came up with on this point system and.
Basically, so there's $1.9 billion of ARPA money that is out there available. It's not allocated to anybody. They want to focus on smaller municipalities. That's the goal of this. Senator Murdoch, who sits on that board, made it very clear that he's focusing on smaller communities, and the communities that are normally left out have a very good chance of receiving this. There's two groups that are going together. There's a tri-county area that's Major, Woods, and Alfalfa County. The municipalities and the counties are going together to write one large grant. NODA is going to spearhead that project and write that grant for everybody. There are additional points that can be received if communities work together. But Senator Murdoch strongly encouraged people to apply twice, apply individually and apply as the group. On November the 15th, we had a meeting up there, or down there in the Capitol with him, and he spoke directly to us and encouraged us to apply 2 different times, just in case one fell through, maybe the other one can be pushed through. The whole point system hasn't been worked out, but you receive, like, the point system hasn't been worked out as in how many points you get for each thing, but to maximize your points, they haven't worked out the ratio yet, but to maximize your points is if, they specifically said 3 or 4 times, if you can get the counties to support your projects. They understand that counties received ARPA money that was designated to water, sewer, and broadband, and most counties don't manage water or sewer or broadband. I don't know of any counties actually in the state of the 77 counties that do. And so he was just encouraging us to get on board, and so the specific question was asked, how much money are you asking? What would be, Vicki from NODA asked, what would be a fair amount to ask the county? And they said 10% would be a fair amount. So based on his verbiage, even though the rules aren't completely written, I interpret that as if the county would support, each individual project up to 10% of the ARPA money you've received, that would maximize our points. So I come here to request 10% of the money that you guys, the ARPA money that you've received, to be designated to the city of Cherokee. It's going to cost about $13.3 million to redo our water lines and to build a new water tower. The grant is going to consist of improving our water distribution system. 100% of the ARPA money that the city's receiving is going to be put towards that. Plus, we're willing to finance 20% of that. So we're willing to take on a huge deficit of our own if we can get the state, we can convince the state that we need that. Out of our lines, our lines were they began constructing the lines in the city of Cherokee in 1932. Currently, about 10.5% of our lines are asbestos cement water lines inside city limits. And we have almost 62% of our lines are old iron lines that need to be changed. I mean, they're over 80 years old, and they need to be switched out. And the city has not has not put enough money aside to replace these lines. We're one of 2 municipalities in the state of Oklahoma that's required to give its customers 100% RO water. And so water in Cherokee is 100% RO, and out of that, since at least 2004, we've lost over 50% of our water loss, and we don't know where that's going. We've had 2 engineers, several leak detection companies come out, 3 different leak detection companies come out, and they can't locate where this water is going. And so I'm not asking anything from your general budget, but the money that you guys have received for water, sewer, and broadband, I'm requesting that you designate 10% of that money to come to the city of Cherokee to be used for water distribution inside city limits. I've also prepared a resolution, a sample resolution, if you guys are interested in
Then we
it.
get a copy.
Okay. I don't think, did that have Lynetta's name spelled wrong?
Yes, oh, I
I
don't know.
have, I changed it.
Yeah, you got an unread on there?
Did I get it?
No, it's wrong.
Okay.
I have actually been, this week, I've worked really hard trying to get it all on top of all this stuff. I've reached out to Neil Williams. I've talked to Carl Newton and Casey Murdoch, both on the phone, and this morning I talked to Vicki at NODA. And everything he said is pretty much fact on, spot on, as far as the dollars and everything. Everything's just right, you're right on top of everything. But the only thing that we, and I, coming from the Carl Newton stuff, there's a better chance if we will pull all the cities and everybody together and pull as Alfalfa County instead of the small, instead of Cherokee, Carmen, you're Carmen, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of Carmen, Cherokee, and Jet, and all of them trying to do their own, they said to go both ways, what you said, apply individually and then apply jointly as a joint deal. But they think there's a broader chance that Alfalfa County as a whole has a better chance of reaching out as one lump sum because the population's just so low. You know, you're just not serving, especially like to pick on Carmen, was it 300 plus people in Carmen? So their chances is very, very small. And that's where they said Alfalfa County as a whole. And as county commissioners, we serve Alfalfa County as a whole. So as of right now, I think that we would, which we haven't had a chance to really discuss this any at all, because Thanksgiving week and everything's just been a bad deal. But I would think that we would want to support Alfalfa County as a whole with where we donate the money as the whole. And Vicki told me this morning on the phone, she thinks that if we can get everybody to go together and decide on one water project, she thinks we stand a much better chance as Alfalfa County as a whole being spotted. She thinks that just the smaller populations with the smaller cities. But I do think you need to apply individually, and then we need to apply as a county as a whole and see where we stand there before we donate or allocate any percent of any kind of funds.
Well, they said that if you guys would make a blanket, you'll do 10% to the different municipalities, or whatever you decide. I need that information to be able to apply. There's a timeline. If we're talking just Cherokee, it's gonna take probably a year and a half from start of project to end of project. And we have a timeline to get it done, otherwise we have to pay all this money back. And so we're on a time crunch. And so
Yes. Before
I can submit the city of Cherokee, I need some kind of formal commitment from the commissioners. And then they assured me at the state, they wanted us to apply differently, but say Alfalfa County got it, then the Cherokees would just go away. Or if the Tri-County area that's applying gets it, then the city of Cherokee and Alfalfa County would go away. So you're not gonna get double the amount of money.
No, you're not
But if
gonna
there's
get-
just a commitment saying, I commit this amount, then I can show the state that I have, because without anything from you, it's pointless for me to submit something individually.
Sure, because that's how the point system works. It takes your money, and that's why Vicki told me that the Alfalfa County as a whole is gonna have a much better chance, because you'll have so many points, because you're gonna allocate this much money to your project. Carmen would have so many points, And then every other city applies for this, they, X amount of points, you put all your points in a bundle, and then we put our percentage, and that just increases the points. And she said the point system has not worked out yet, same thing as what you said. But she just kind of really assured me that the hold would have a much better chance. And she's willing to write the no to the grants and do all the no to in. And there would be a percentage of fee that would actually go back to NOTA for them writing the grant, 2% or 3% or whatever it actually totals out to be. But that saves a lot as far as have to hire people to write that for you and do all that.
Yeah, we made an agreement in our NOTA board meeting to help anybody that we can help at the NOTA board that applies for this. And right now, our census population is 5,966 people in Alfalfa County. So that figure would help immensely.
That actually adds total to
When
it.
you add the census county in.
And honestly, when I was talking to Vicki on the phone this morning, she thought one of the best ways, if Alfalfa County received it as a whole, was to then, since it was a census year, break up whatever we got back to census to population. That way, every town would get, say we got X amount of dollars as Alfalfa County as a whole, then break it and divide it by census, by population.
Mm-hmm.
And that would, she thought was the fairest way to kind of divvy it up. It was just an off-the-hand idea how to divvy it up, so.
The only thing that would concern me is, I know, and I'm just speaking for rural water, and I'm not even a representative of rural water, but they have a lot of miles of line and they don't have a very large population that they serve.
Well, and I talked to Vicki, this morning, and she said she'd be willing to get on board and do this as part of the county. And you're right, she's got a huge mile. She goes from one end of the county to the other, but she goes in, she covers Burleton, Byron, Amarita, Ingersoll, and she covers Nescatonga too, I believe she said, but Nescatonga's not recognized because it's not a incorporated city.
It's not incorporated.
And then also Lambert and Ewan, which are very small, but then you would have her rural customers would help her with population.
Yeah.
She would probably, yeah, you're right, her population's not as high, but she does cover so many miles. But I would still think with all her rural customers and the cities that she does cover, she would still cover a considerable amount of population.
And there's a chance that municipalities, rural water, whoever, that we won't even have anything left to pay. Do you know what I mean? Because there's enough money out there if they focus on these smaller communities, so we might not have to match.
Vicki told me this morning that their $1.9 billion, they've already had over $4 billion asked for.
Oh, yeah, they have. But a lot of those are larger cities or,
Yes.
you know, it's crazy how, you know, there's not very many small municipalities that have done that. And the people on the board assured me that they're focusing on the smaller population, the smaller populated areas, because the new transportation bill that they just put out, there's infrastructure involved in that, and some of that's focused towards bigger things, bigger cities.
See, the first city in our NOTA area, and they're already into it, is Kingfisher, for example. There's a lot of population in Kingfisher. They're the first one to approach this deal.
According to Senator Murdoch, it's not based on population. You have a population cutoff where you can't apply for, but you don't get points for population. But then again, he said that, and then he turned around and said, we haven't decided how our point system is gonna work out. So I don't know if Kingfisher has a better chance than Cherokee because of population.
They're just one of the first ones that's already taken the ball and gone with it, and told us in our NOTA board meeting a week ago last Thursday. And so they're already quite a ways into it, but NOTA will help anybody we can with all the loops you gotta jump to get this thing going.
One thing, this is brand new. This American Rescue is brand new. We're kind of paving the way with this. So whatever way we go is going to be experimental, and we're going to learn as we go. So that's, I feel like we're just trying to figure this out. This just first step program. So, what about Carmen? What's Carmen?
Well, we're trying to get our water tower upgraded, and then there's some water main near the water tower. In fact, the construction crew had got a hold of it, and it's patched together, it's working, but we need to fix that too, which is right there by the water tower. So that's what we're thinking so far. I mean, we definitely need to do that water tower.
Basically, water line infrastructure is the goal of everybody, I believe. Or
Except for Burlington.
they're the only ones.
Burlington, the last I talked to Marcy, she was focused on sewer.
Sewer?
Yeah, true, you're right.
Okay.
Their water line system's pretty good, of course, they're all, the water that feeds Burlington is rural water. And, but their big problem is sewer.
Sewer.
Over any broadband or any,
Yeah,
these companies are looking to get wealthy, and 5 years from now, they're supposed to have these satellites up to give rural broadband,
what hurt?
and they're trying to get in the ground floor, so it's a little
Just
bit
trying to
of
make
money,
money while they can.
my opinion.
Okay.
So is
I
this,
think we all want to get together.
I mean, is this just one project we're looking to apply for, right? Just one project? I mean, 'cause you were talking
Well,
about
it
the
seems more
broadband.
simple. I mean,
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got a better shot if you apply like the county does, and
Uh-huh.
that's what I've been told. But
So, yeah, because I don't think the broadband's as important as our water
no,
tower, so.
definitely, I agree, 100%.
I'm 100% support of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just hands down. Is there any chance that we could establish a county meeting and get all these cities involved at one time and everybody have a chance to say something, like in a pretty quick, tight manner?
Well, pretty quick, but I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, it's up to you, gentlemen, but I have reached out to every municipality in the county to try to get them on board with the tri-county thing, and people weren't showing up. I mean, so all you can do is ask and invite, and
Well, I'm thinking that if we have it in the evenings, though, where people can get off work, because a lot of them work.
Well, I know, like I said, Mrs. Coyd called me first thing this morning, bright and early. She was gonna be here. She's on board with whatever we can do to make water. You're here and you're here, but I reached out to the rest of, that's in my district. And I don't know if they got busy or what, but they were gonna be here, so. And today said he reached out, and I expected to have a full room.
I sure thought Marcy would be here this morning, but something could have come up, I don't know.
Now, we are on board about donating a certain percent of our American Rescue money toward water, right?
Yes.
Definitely.
Do we have a percentage that we're on board to donate toward water?
Well, it's kind of hard to, when you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
what do you mean if you don't know what you're getting?
How much? I mean,
This 10%'s coming out of what we already have.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You already
yes.
know your ARPA money.
Yes.
I'm not asking for
Oh.
anything outside of what you've
Yeah.
already received.
okay, gotcha.
And supposedly we get another one, but that's supposedly.
Can't count your eggs where they
That's
hatch.
exactly right. Contrary to what the President of the United States wants.
I would
So
feel,
what's the 1.9 billion?
that's the state. The state of Oklahoma has $1.9 billion.
So what you're asking for here is what's already in that account?
Yeah, yeah, the percentage out of that account.
Well, it's just 10% of ARPA money, so if you receive more money, it would include that.
Yeah.
10% of the total amount of ARPA money that
The
you guys
second
receive.
round that Jay's talking about is actually designated for roads and bridges.
There you go, then
Supposedly, yeah.
and this is just for
This
water,
is
sewer,
the water, sewer.
broadband.
This is the only one that we're talking about.
Yes, okay.
And I would feel comfortable with donating 10% towards water, but I cannot strictly sign something saying that you're going straight to Cherokee. It's gonna have to, because as a county commissioner, we're looking at the county as a whole.
If we put in wording saying if we receive, I understand that you have to put money to each, municipality as a whole, but if you guys could decide what you were gonna designate to each municipality or water system, then I could go ahead and apply, and I'll apply jointly as a county, and I'll apply jointly with the tri-county. But I can't do anything without some kind of commitment.
I think we could commit 10% towards the county end of it, and if if nothing else, if nobody shows up, nobody applies, I mean, then whoever's willing, say you and Carmen and Vicky's the only three it's really interested in, then the 10% could be divided amongst that. But if the other ones want to get on board and we apply as a county, I'm more leaning towards the 10% as a county group, 10% or whatever we decide to give, or more, I mean, 10% or more.
That's a minimum.
10% is the minimum, and if I wouldn't be opposed to donating a little more towards the county deal end of it, but I think it needs to come to the county first.
What, out of curiosity, yes, sir,
What'd you say this project, what was the cost on
$13.3 million.
And you're putting up how much, you're putting up all your ARPA money, or how much of your
Yes,
ARPA?
100% of
You're
all,
putting 100% of your ARPA money.
plus city money on top of it.
Pats on the back, Mike, for being, reaching out there, I
it?
agree.
How much have you got in ARPA money?
We, we're supposed to get 300 and, is it 360? Or 260?
365, what I
Two-
thought, but that, I'm talking.
I don't remember if it's 260 or 360 now off the top of my head. But it's a water distribution project, so the water meters that we're putting in, our water meters are 10 years expired. I mean, they expired 10 years ago. And so that's part of this distribution, so we can figure out where water is going, because the goal is to minimize our water loss. And
The
so,
meter, what,
So that'd be about 10% of
we
what we
got.
already
Ours?
got.
1.7 million.
We got
1.7, yeah,
What's
1.7.
10% of 1.7
Yeah.
million? You
Yeah,
got an
thank
idea?
you.
1.7.
Yeah.
What's Carmen
$107,000.
what's Carmen doing with their ARPA money? They
We haven't
haven't,
decided yet,
they decided?
but it's probably, well, I mean, we've got a lot of old infrastructure, so we've got sewer line problems,
But if we went
107,000.
with a joint deal, like
70,
Alfalfa
170.
County went if Alfalfa County went as a joint project, and Mike says he's donating 100%, would Carmen be willing to donate 100% of theirs towards their infrastructure? I mean, you're not giving it to the county as a whole, you would keep, because you're gonna divide it up when the grant comes in, you're not giving your money away.
well, we've already started our project. We've already started working towards our water infrastructure improvement. We bid out the project, and we're gonna be putting water meters in the ground, hopefully as early as next month. We're not waiting. I'm eager to get our water issue solved. And I'm
I have a
gonna-
question.
Yes.
With that 170,000, 10% of that ARP money, that would be countywide, right? 170, if you take 10% of what the county got, and that's for those county entities, wouldn't it be the
But
total?
it won't be that 170,000 if you're not putting the second half in, it'll be 10% of the 500,000 that you got. if you're
That's what
saying-
I was getting at.
Yes.
Yeah,
So, we got 1.7 million, but
Million.
we've only
We've only
received
received
500.
500,000.
Yeah, so if you're
Yeah.
gonna only designate 500,000,
That's just gonna be.
For the whole
$50,000.
county though, right? For the whole county, correct?
Yeah, for the- yeah.
that's what
So
we got
if
in
Cherokee
county.
got a portion of it, it wouldn't be the whole 10.
No.
Well, that'd
Cherokee
just
do.
be 10%, Carmen, 10%.
So the max,
On the way that I understand how we apply for this is they don't care about dollar amounts, they care about percentages amounts. So when I say Cherokee's putting 100% plus additional resources in, county's designated 10% towards the city of Cherokee.
Gotcha.
They wanna see how much meat's on the table. They don't care about the big number, if you will. They wanna see how much of the slice of the pie that you're willing to put towards it. And that's how Senator Murdoch explained it to me.
And that's the same reason I was saying that 10%'s a minimum, and I wouldn't be opposed to putting a little more towards it, just because the more meat you put to the table, the more there is to go around.
Yes, if they see 12% or 15%.
So we're on agreement that 10% to Carmen, 10% to Cherokee, 10%. Is that what you're?
No,
No.
10% county as a whole.
As a whole.
Yeah,
So then how you gonna divide it up?
It would have to be, it'd
By
have to be broke
population.
down by population. That's the only fair way I know to do it.
yeah.
And some jurisdictions may not wanna participate, they may not have a need.
And the ones that don't wanna participate, that'd be more go to the ones that do wanna participate.
Exactly.
But you guys gotta remember, we are responsible for how they spend that money, so.
Yeah, they still have,
We are still,
Yes.
our bid procedures, everything
still
have
got
to
answers,
be
yeah.
followed, because we have to report it. So we can't
We
just
follow
give
the
it to them
state.
and never see it again.
We follow state bid procedures.
Yeah, city follows same procedures.
But we gotta do that also. Just because you guys send it out doesn't cover us. We gotta send it out also when you guys send it. We still gotta abide by our statutes also. So if it's a thing that you guys are gonna bid, then we gotta bid it also. Or bid it with you to make sure that we're covered also.
That's where NODA is supposed to step in and
I don't
help
think
with
you have
all
to
the
bid it separate,
procedures.
but we
No,
can
you don't have to bid it
together.
separate. We have to bid
I think
it,
you
we
can
have to
bid
be
it jointly.
involved
I think
together.
you can
Just kind of like
state,
the Woods County on the
Yeah.
Fifth Street Road. We gotta bid it together.
I think it could be Alfalfa County, City of Cherokee submits a bid for,
But it's gotta be opened in our meeting, then you guys can table it, you guys can take it to your meeting, so you're gonna have a time factor there that is gonna affect everybody, because we are still responsible for that money, from what I understand. Now, I may be wrong, I mean, this all is new also,
this is all brand new. This is gonna
but
be a
that's what
learning
they said, I
experience.
mean, it came right out of City Bird's mouth, saying, if you give somebody part of your money, rural water or whoever, we are still responsible for that money.
Makes sense.
I think that's an easy hurdle to jump through for a $13 million.
It is, but I don't know.
Just have to.
Gotta
Follow through.
communicate, and when you have a problem communicating in one little building, let alone how many different towns.
what was you getting ready to say? You already forgot.
Yeah.
Do we want to try to get together?
If you guys are gonna get together, you're gonna have to have a special meeting, there's
No,
gonna be more than one
not
of you
just
there.
one of us, not, I'm talking about the city. The city.
Can we try to have a city meeting and let everybody have a chance to have a, which, I mean, we can make a motion to donate a certain percent towards a county deal, and if that would help you with,
You need to have that in resolution form, I wouldn't
Okay.
just say that, I mean,
Okay.
we can put it on the agenda next week and write up a resolution, but I wouldn't
Mike, are
just.
these jurisdictions like fully aware of, you know, what's out there for them? Are they knowledgeable on all of these?
Called them and talked to them.
You did extensively? Okay, so they are aware.
Yeah, they were reached out by me, and I think Neil Williams reached out to them.
well, like I said, I know Mrs. Cloyd wanted to be here, but she is under the weather, and she's willing to do whatever, whether we go individually or whether we go as a group. But she's willing to be a part of it.
What's your time frame on all this, Mike?
Time is of the essence, because the project has to, is it 2024 or 2025 when it has to be done, do you remember?
24.
24.
Is it
Has
completed
to be
work?
completed, and so, it's a big deal to make sure we got the supply. I mean, I don't wanna sit around and let the opportunity go away. I'm willing to take a chance on it, but if this process takes 2 or 3 months to get approved, we're about out of the game. I mean, the state needs to approve it with us within 3 months for us to have a decent shot of getting it complete. And once I submit my application, I'll get an application number, and then I'm gonna start calling every senator and representative on that committee and just work it. Because we don't have time to wait 6 months. If they waited 6 months and they gave us the money, I would have to decline it, because I can't take a chance of not having it done in time. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yes, sir.
it's,
Well, I have all their emails and I can send out an email on y'all's behalf if so be or whatever. I'm not saying I need to or have to, but I'm willing to offer that if you wanna set a date and time, at least find the participants in the county that actually wanna
Well, it would
participate
need to
in
be
this.
done this week. I mean, because if we write a
Or
resolution
go
to have it
visit
on the
them.
agenda for next week to approve a percentage, we need to know before this week who's willing to get on board and who's willing, who's not.
Yes.
It's easy to say we're willing, that we're willing to participate as of right now, but it's who's gonna be willing to participate with us.
I was told we needed our projects in by December 1st, is that?
It's like Wednesday.
Yeah, there was a December 1st deadline. What was,
So that's what NODA also understands the timeline, and that time is of the essence. We have to get this money to start these projects because of how long it takes to do some of these massive things. And if you wanted to be included on their joint grant application, they wanted it, I don't remember what the deadline was.
I
But
believe it was December 1st.
I have the Cherokee stuff here, and I submitted it to them that day, back early November. If you guys are interested in seeing it.
See, my engineer may need to come out, I'm not sure, we haven't got a hold of him yet, but, I know pretty much what the cost estimate is for the water tower, but we gotta add that. Water main
They
there.
actually said that the engineers and stuff didn't have to be involved just yet. The rough estimates was pretty close.
Okay, and you'll want that by Wednesday?
Yeah, NODA would want that.
No, okay,
No, yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
okay. And yeah, in the evening, if you have a meeting in the evening, I might be able to get a board member or two here.
Can you reach out to everybody, Shayna, and
I
ask if
can.
they wanted, and we could just see who's interested and give them one chance? I mean,
I wouldn't ask when people are available. I would recommend
that we have a
That-
meeting.
that the commissioner set a date and time, and we reach out and we say, this is when it's gonna happen, and then people come or they don't come. That would just be my recommendation, if we set it now.
I kinda agree with that. I mean,
Otherwise, everybody will want to
Especially
do
if they've
it.
already been notified.
So when would you like to set that date and time? Like Wednesday?
I'll
or-
work on your schedule. I can stop everything to come to this meeting.
And our next board meeting is next Wednesday at 7:30, so,
well, it needs to be done this week.
yeah.
Can we do, has the fairgrounds, they on board with letting us use their building on Wednesday? You can call
We
it.
can use City Hall if you guys would like to.
City Hall's easy.
City Hall work,
Yeah.
that work great.
Let's use City Hall,
Okay,
let's say 7 o'clock Wednesday night,
okay.
and, we'll reach out, we'll definitely get a hold of everybody, and, if they wanna participate, they'll just need to be there, and if not, we'll proceed on from there.
You said 7, right?
Yeah,
Wednesday, this Wednesday, okay.
and, I guess we'll we'll put on the agenda for next week to write a resolution. And we need to decide on a percentage of what we want. Is 10% a good, we can always up that, can't we?
Yeah, you could say a minimum of 10%,
Right.
in your wording, and that way you could do more than 10%, but it committed you to 10%.
I think
That's what
10%.
I
But if
would
you up
do,
it,
put
you're
a
gonna have to do a new
minimum.
resolution.
Okay, let's just do a 10%.
It would be encouraging to me if there was a breakdown as well to the different municipalities. Do you know what I mean? 10% countywide,
Then
or
it's gonna go by population.
Based on population.
however you guys, if I had
That's the only
something,
fair way I
that would be
understand
fine with me, anything, and then I would submit both resolutions, say this one is for the countywide and this one is for the city of Cherokee. That way
Okay.
I can submit something individually.
Okay. And and actually, everybody I've talked to, they said to tell you all guys to submit something individually. And then if you submit something county, and you can take one or the other, so.
Yes. And obviously, the bigger one's the better, so if they're gonna give
Absolutely.
a tri-county one, that's the one I want. If they're gonna
Absolutely.
give a county, that's the one I want.
Right.
And we're
Everything
talking
else
about
falls
just the
apart,
money
I'm
that
still
we
gonna
have
fight
right
for
now.
Yes.
But that December 1st deadline for the tri-county, is that past us now? Or do you think they'll extend on that, or? I'm just
That's
asking.
just a rough idea.
Okay.
That's when they would like it. They're gonna take the applications as long as people send them in. But like, you know, the early bird gets the worm. so.
Yes. Okay. What's the name of this grant,
It's just
or
our
the
funds.
process,
ARPA funds.
ARPA funds?
We're going after undesignated ARPA funds.
Okay,
From the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Well, the opera funds that we have right now are from federal, they're not from
Yes.
state.
The state received theirs from the federal too, just like we did
And
ours.
that's the
So,
portion
but
of
what we're going after is this 1.9, what you're.
So, so the way that I understand it is the state received a whole bunch of money from the federal government, and then
Exactly.
most of that was designated, like every county got a certain amount, every city got a certain amount, every school district got a certain amount. And on top of all the, whatever $1 billion we've got, there's still 1.9 billion of undesignated funding.
That's what we're going
And
after.
that's what we're going
That's what
after,
we're
is
going
that,
after, that's right.
is that
What she's
1.9.
saying is that we're not just doing the 500,000 that we have, because you're gonna have to put it in there, that you're talking about.
So I'm requesting out of your 500,000 that you designate part of that to the city of Cherokee, and we're gonna go after that 1.9. And then as a county, we're gonna go after that 1.9, and then as a tri-county, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm just asking for the designated of the money that you've received for water, sewer, broadband, a portion of that come back to the city of Cherokee and each other city.
I guess we're all on the same page on this. We'll have a meeting Wednesday, see who wants to participate. We'll get a resolution wrote that we'll
So if they don't show up Wednesday, then they're not included on the resolution.
That would be the way I
I'm
would
just
do it,
asking,
because
you're asking me to write a resolution
They
then.
don't,
Some of
they
them may
apparently
not
don't have any
project.
desire
Yeah.
to.
some of them may not have projects, but,
But I'm gonna talk, I failed to talk to mine.
well, like Jeff, they just got a water tower put up, they might have a need for water, but they might have a need for sewer, because it encompasses all, correct?
we kinda need to everybody
No.
get on
No,
one
no.
page and do it.
Or do you have to apply, does it matter what project, infrastructure
Yes.
project, it does
If you
matter?
apply as jointly as a county, you kinda need to have,
Everybody
one
doing
designated.
water?
They're shooting to a water project now.
Okay.
I really believe that water is extremely important, and for Northwest Oklahoma, I believe that's where our need is. You know, I'm not-
I mean, Jed just had that water tower put up, but they might need new water lines.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
no, I don't know, but I was just, I didn't know if you could do different projects, like some jurisdictions do sewer and some
You
do
can,
water,
but then your chances of,
or less.
Well,
You better stick with one project if you're gonna get it through, you don't wanna piece it out.
So you kinda need to know, the jurisdictions need to know what their needs are, and they kinda need to coincide together. Meeting of the minds.
We're just gonna have to get over what our I needs and look at us as a whole.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Where's the biggest problem?
And that's the biggest problem, was getting everybody to get over the I's and get on us. And it's the only way, I truly believe if we're really gonna get a big chunk of this, I think it's Alfalfa County as a whole carries much more weight than all these little bitty groups does.
Definitely.
I just think that we're, when you look at a map, Alfalfa County, you can see it. When you look at a map, little bitty spots are pretty small, so.
If you have time, I have an estimate on what just a water tower is gonna, I don't know how tall a water tower you guys need, but I have an estimate for a water tower. It's like
so there's nothing.
1.2 million.
No
And
action.
then I have, water estimates for
I
water
moved
line,
it,
so if
no
you know how
action.
much water line and what
No, it
size,
just says
I
for
mean,
discussion.
I've already got
Discussion.
price, you know what I mean, you can use stuff that I already have.
Moving on.
You know,
See,
the size of
we're
pipe
actually
and how
just
long the
looking to
pipe.
upgrade the one we have to get that in good condition, because they don't really wanna replace it.
Is it, what, a 120-foot water tower probably?
Something like that, I can't remember how tall it is, 75,000 gallons.
It's cheaper just to do a standpipe. I think a
Yeah,
teardrop or bowl-shaped water towers are more expensive, and for 300 people, a standpipe would be more than enough.
and that's just that,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, and we've talked about it, but mostly they wanna keep that on water towers.
Well,
No,
build a
we'll talk about it,
standpipe
yeah.
and then have both of them, so when the
Yeah.
other one fails, then you can have the other one.
Well, if you guys are good with that, we'll just have this meeting on Wednesday, we'll see who wants to come, and then we'll just go from there, and we'll run this through next week's meeting where we're at.
Is there anything I can do to prepare for that meeting on Wednesday, or what commissioner will be represent? Okay, do you want me to do anything, or just have the doors open?
Shayna's gonna reach out for them, if you wanna invite them also,
I'll just
I'm good
let
with
one
that.
person that way.
Okay? Okay,
Yeah, I'll send out an email, I'll CC, and then, I'll put on there too to call, to reach out to the commissioners to discuss since can't meet the meeting or whatever
Do
maybe.
you want me to email you that, so you can cut and paste and change it?
That
Would
would
that
be
be easier?
wonderful, thank
how
you.
Well,
about
you
that,
have a
I'll just
word.
give her that one.
Well,
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
easier to have a
she'll
word
bring-
document.
she'll rather, the electronic.
That would be
better.
wonderful, thank you.
Okay. As soon as I get back to my office, I'll.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go down and write that up.
Thank you guys, I appreciate y'all's time.
Yes, thank you, I appreciate you guys.
See you Wednesday.
I move we set the minutes.
Second that.
All in favor?
No.
Aye. We did say 7 o'clock Wednesday, right?
Right. Put it all.
Payroll,
I move we set the payroll warrant.
Second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
And the no for payments.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. So they're understanding that that's gonna be like, maybe just 10,000 that they get, each one of them get?
Pretty much, or it would be less than that if you,
Yeah, if you have less, if you have all of them, it's gonna be less than 10%, or less than 10,000 apiece.
Yeah. But
That's
it,
why I was wanting to get it, because you guys was talking about that 1.9 or 1.7, we ain't got that, well, we've got
Yeah.
set what's in the
Well, he
account.
said the money we've already received, and I'm good, but we haven't received the second half yet. And if you guys are wanting to designate that all to highway, you can't say you're gonna give them,
there's supposed to be another one, but it's only went through one of them. It's made through the House and it's at the Senate now. It's gonna be highway and bridges only. But
another,
that's
another ARP or the second half of our ARP?
another.
No,
But that's counting your chickens before they hatch.
yeah. Cause I think ODOT's gonna be involved in some of that, and you know where that leaves us.
Yeah. Now, if we decide to donate 10% of our AR that we've already received, and as the other half comes in, could we extend that 10% to come out of that too, or is that
Another
something?
resolution.
Just a new resolution, okay.
I would just put a flat 10% on there, and then that way I mean, it's very black and white what we're putting out there.
Okay.
Then if you wanna do more, just do another
Okay.
resolution.
Cause comes towards the end of 24, if they don't ever free it up where we can utilize it, we might as well let the cities utilize it for water line infrastructure.
Right, yeah. Your date's wrong, Nancy.
What's that?
That's Sunday.
No, it's not the 11/28 either, that clock's wrong.
Sorry.
It was right the other day when I put the new batteries in.
So is the day the 29th?
29, yeah.
Anyways, that's road, one road on the chest. I think the bills,
Cause I do think water line is very.
Oh, I do
important.
too, I totally agree, I think it's a good way to utilize it, especially if they're not gonna free it up. But I think we need to be very specific of what we're
Yes.
Change the time change.
Well, I think we need to help everybody. If it's county money, it needs to be donated countywide.
And like you said, it needs to be based on population or, that way everybody has given the right,
Well, it's
the
fair.
same procedure, the same opportunity
Well,
to
this is a good year for population because we just approved the
get a
census.
census, yeah.
I mean, you can't pick a better year for population. Yeah, we may only have 2 or 3 people interested.
Yeah,
It's-
so that would be
I was
better.
really shocked that we didn't have a full crowd.
Like the courtroom the other day, I was let down, we didn't have more people show up for it. They said they would, but
but the thing about it, a lot of people got jobs.
Sure. At least that 7 o'clock
That's
time
what
line
I'm
will
saying,
be.
I think we'll have a better crowd.
Okay.
And you guys know, only one of you can show up, right?
Ain't no problem with me.
Don't wanna have to go ask the DA for
You know,
forgiveness.
about me down there.
Well, I've been in Orange all week during deer season, so. But there was no number on the back of that hunt
That's what
jacket.
they're getting.
I hate wearing orange too, I hate it. You're out there with all your camo, and then you got this bright orange on.
make you think you're in jail with
Yeah.
it. On the go.
Well, why do you spend all the money on camo is what gets me. Might as well wear blue jeans and a hoodie.
That's what I do.
I do too.
I,
I wear them old brown coveralls, they blend in that white grass better than anything.
I'm not worried about the color, I'm worried about staying warm.
Yeah. I make a motion to approve the,
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
I will revert this on.
Yeah. I gotta have her send those bills. Thanks for sending that. Oop.
I have a U and J. Blanket purchase orders.
Just have one from sheriff.
We don't sign it, right?
No.
I move we set the blanket purchase order.
All in favor?
Aye.
Road crossings? None. Project agreement resolution for District One.
I too.
No, we already did this.
Fine. No, there was,
We only got one more time, we'll get it.
there is all that was brought into me was this. But on the back of this, there's a signature that needs to be on it also. So I just stuck it all on there, so it was all signed on the same date. So I put the resolution back on there, and then this on there. And this one here has let me double check. She said it did.
Corrected that, taking my name off.
No, it wasn't ever, she said she didn't know whether they had gotten transposed when whoever made a copy, but she said on her District 1, it says J.
Remember where it said my
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
They just accidentally slid one of my papers in there or something.
So this one is J's, and there's two places, and then,
Are they both the same problem
The problem?
on both of them?
Yes.
yeah.
Can we just do them
Yeah, you
both?
do them together, and then here's the last page and the second one for District, or the top page for District 2.
There's two places here, the back and
Very last page, yeah. Very top page and very last page. But I wasn't given the second part, and so when I sent the first part in, she asked for it. I sent the first part in and I said, in Jay's backup, it says District 2 on there, and so she called me and she said, no, it doesn't. And I'm like, I don't know, all I have is a resolution. She said, well, I need the back page signed also. I'm like, well, then it's gotta go through the agenda again then.
I didn't date it.
And I don't know whether Brian is up there or not or what.
Sure ain't no other spots we're missing. I'll make a motion to accept these two.
Yeah, for both of them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I move we adjourn.
Any unforeseen business?
Move we adjourn.
I'll
And we can do this after.
I'll second it. All in favor?